Live Like a King in Istanbul, Luxury Living in Turkey, featuring Andrew Henderson, the Nomad Capitalist.
This is Istanbul, and today we're showing you luxury living here in the heart of Turkey, how you can live like a king. And
I'm sorry, Turkey, eh? I believe we still refer to it as Turkey.
We'll be showing you fine dining at some of my favorite restaurants from the past decade, shopping on the 5th Avenue of Istanbul, experiencing Turkey's amazing hammam spa experience, and meeting entrepreneurs talking about the future of the country. But first, yeah, there's so much talk about like what's the morning routine? What does Warren Buffett do when he wakes up? And I think Alex Hormozi cracked this open, and I love that. I don't have a morning routine. I wake up, I get to work, open the laptop, start doing things. I don't do meditation. Maybe I should, but I just get right into it. And it's a struggle sometimes when you say, okay, I'm going to go for like my morning thinking walk. Let me just do half an hour of getting back to some people first. But half an hour can lead to an hour, can lead to 2 hours as you get sucked into things. To me, this idea that any morning routine is going to be so perfect, I think it's very unking-like, actually. I mean, I think the king adapts to the circumstances and makes circumstances.
Yeah, I don't have much of a morning routine, Chad. I just get up, I take a shower, shave, and get dressed and go to work. Oh God, why did he throw in a sultry voice? I don't think he meant to. Breakfast. If there's time, I usually grab snacks at the office. You forgot breakfast. Again, snacks at the office.
Circumstances adapt to him to a certain point. What I think is great about Istanbul is for someone who is living a pied-à-terre kind of global lifestyle, Turkish Airlines and this city is very well connected. And so some of the elements I wanted to put around the home were indicative of where the places that you might go, where the people that might have come to Istanbul over the years. Whether you lived here 1 week a year or the entire year, you would be able to go pretty much anywhere you want in the world. I had a friend who came here from Chicago to visit me once, and he's like, no one in Chicago goes out anymore. No one in New York. Like, it's not as busy as it used to be.
Oh, yes, because Chicago and New York are unsafe. The police have ceded control to roving gangs of criminals and troublemakers. All because they're so scared of being called racist and getting sued. Turkish police don't have that problem, because they don't fuck around. You cause trouble, they'll just haul your ass to jail. And that's if they don't beat you senseless in the street. Deservedly so, too.
We walked up and down some of the streets in Istanbul. It's like, this is teeming with life. Like, people are excited and full of vitality here. The way that this...
Yes, because it is safe. Because this is a relatively safe country. Because they've also got a tourism angle that they have to protect. New York and Chicago think that they can just ride the coattails of their own brand and think that should be enough. Thank you for the hydrate and stretch redeem, maiden.
Doesn't exist in the U.S. anymore. Turkey has some of the best breakfast. I remember I was at one of the hotels, and I really hate staying at hotels these days, which is why I got the house for layovers. But I said, I don't want any bread this morning. And they brought like 5 pieces of bread. I'm like, I said no bread. They said, this is no bread. They like having a hearty breakfast, but they like having stuff. This is what I want to eat. I don't understand cold cereal. I don't understand a hard-boiled egg. Give me something that's delicious like this. I think there's a great entrepreneurial...
I can go either way. Some days I'm just in the mood for cold cereal and a hard-boiled egg, and then there are other days it's like, I just want a big fucking omelet. Just sort of depends on the day, you know? Depends on how you're feeling. Depends on how I wish to be eased into my day. Nurse maiden on duty, thank you.
culture in Turkey, and historically you've had some really smart people leave the country, but you've got a country that is growing. I think fewer people are leaving. There's more opportunities here. Morning.
Morning, how are you?
Good. For
Under
someone, though,
digital
who's from the
wisers.
West, and they say, oh, I'm afraid of living in a Muslim country, to me, a neighborhood like this is very international and very internationally minded.
Yeah, especially in these streets, you walk around. I mean, this place, House Cafe. So like you always feel that this is an international environment. Now, being the international hub, especially, I mean, you also said that you are passing through Istanbul when you travel. So a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
I meet investors, entrepreneurs. They generally have a house in Istanbul.
If you come through enough, or if you're making investments here,
Exactly.
and we've even looked at, can we hire a few people here, especially I think for certain roles. IT, sales. I mean, the salesmanship in Turkey is
Good, yeah.
is good. Yeah, it's interesting to see when you become a hub, when you let people come through, when you've got a relatively open visa policy, people come and one thing leads to the other.
Exactly. Because of the market and the market expansion in other places that are larger than Turkey, people tend to start a business in Turkey and then at the end expand to UK, US, and other regions. I mean, if you are a business owner or
Interesting.
investor that you would like to set up a business in Turkey, I think they made it much, much easier. And the government is asking to pass another regulation that could make startups' life easier.
Primarily in the e-commerce IT area.
Yeah, like my becoming kind of a startup guy after 10 years in corporate life was an
Everybody wants the. Seems like every country wants e-commerce, something internet-based, and it. But the good thing about Turkey is you buy property. I think you can get citizenship after a few years, depending on the amount of investment that you make, and setting up a business or something is fairly easy road to permanent residency of some kind in Turkey. Love the tulip glass he has. I don't know why. It's all I can see. Oh, I think that's his tea.
e-com company. So we built an e-com company for Turkish retailers. And then I moved to Trendyol. Trendyol became a huge success in Turkish e-commerce, especially acquired by Alibaba.
Majority
Now it's a decacorn.
shareholder
A
Alibaba.
decacorn.
Yeah.
10 billion US.
15 billion.
15 billion US.
I think it's more now. I don't know exactly the number. But yeah, like I started with e-com. I was there when Rocket Group came to Turkey, did a lot of things and left abruptly in like 2 years.
They have a lot of problems in a lot of markets, don't they?
They do, yeah. But I think unknowingly they helped the Turkish ecosystem because they hired like, I don't know, 1,000 people and fired them 2 years later. So we had like now 1,000 people trained fast in 2 years. So the other startups could use those talents at the end.
A lot of people are moving here and buying property and starting businesses, as you said, from the Middle East, from Jordan.
Lebanon, Egypt, even Qatar.
People are bringing money.
Exactly.
They're not just coming and
Exactly.
looking for work.
But I think based on the prices of the houses increased so much, and then it's now stuck there for a while. It's not increasing that much as it did for the like 5-10 years.
It's not increasing as much anymore.
Yeah.
So if you
it's not.
followed me 4 years ago and you said, I'm going to buy in Turkey, you were smart.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think things are moving in the right direction or the wrong direction?
Right direction.
In a big way or slowly?
Midway.
Yeah.
Not big, not small, but they are doing.
Not too fast, not too slow, fairly even pace, which I suppose is a good thing. Don't know, but I'm obsessed with them. I'm going to get one for my whiskey. Yeah, they do make glasses that are similar to this for whiskey, and they're very good for tasting.
I think we will see, maybe not in a few years, but in 5 to 10 years, if you are investing in Turkey now, especially in tech side, you will see a good return.
Now, Istanbul may not be a place that you want to live full-time or at all. You can get Turkish citizenship just by buying a property. This can be a place you come when you need to. If you want to learn how to access a plan B for your citizenship, a place to go in times of chaos, better investment opportunities, and even how to lower your taxes, Nomad Calculus has helped clients from all around the world do just that. It is our specialty. Go to nomadcalculus.com/apply and learn how you can live like a king all over the world by creating a holistic plan that protects your finances, your freedom, and creates a great lifestyle for you. So we're in the neighborhood of Nishantasi, and there's 4
Vtuber.
districts within Nishantasi. Machka is where the Fifth Avenue of Istanbul is, with Prada and Louis Vuitton and fine bistros, hotels. But right behind that, you'll see Tejvikia, this residential area where things are quieter. You've got some great local cafes, a lively culture, but it's less congested here than you'd find. And yet you're also within a walking distance to areas like Bomonti, which are a bit more accessible. I love just walking down beautiful cityscapes. We're going to walk down the Fifth Avenue here of Istanbul, and we're going to see all that you can do here. Just so many really nice, not only international brands, luxury brands. You've got Marks and Spencer, obviously not such a luxury brand. You've got more regional brands, lesser known brands. Of course, you've got all the bridal gowns. Just a great variety of street retail. You've seen a couple spots open up, but they always get filled, and I think it always gets better. Stefano Ricci's interesting. Oh, we have some competition now. Oh, they have my Thomas Mason shirts. I remember the very first time I came to Istanbul, I was staying not so far away
Yeah, they're
from
decent
here,
shirts.
and I got a recommendation to go to a restaurant.
Yeah, I know the kind you're talking about, but I like to mix my whiskey, so it's not good for a whiskey glass. Yeah, cocktails not so much.
We're going to go to in a minute, and I just came down this street and said, this would be a great area to live. And if there's any message that I want people watching Nomad Capitalist to get is, years later, I ended up doing just that, living not so far away. So it was here in Istanbul that I coined the phrase DTLV, distance to Louis Vuitton. You could explain real estate this way. Oh, I'm 5 blocks DTLV. I'm 300 meters DTLV. You can buy real estate in an amazingly convenient and luxurious area, very affordably. If you want to get the passport with that real estate, you can do that. And you've got access to a lot of things that are affordable and a great service culture. This is one of the first restaurants I came to when I visited Istanbul over a dozen years ago. And I have been to this restaurant every single one of the dozens of times I've come here since. It's a ritual. I don't miss it. How's it going, boss?
Hello, sir.
Good to see you again.
Yeah.
I was saying, I come here every time.
Yes, I know.
Every time, he knows. Hi.
Please.
Good afternoon. This is like a table for more than a king. This is for a sultan, for one person. This is what you get. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
You didn't think I'd be back so soon?
Today they got. Sorry.
Sure.
Yes.
So always the spicy couscous, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm not as big a fan of the tomato. The spicy yogurt is nice.
Yeah.
This is the, remind me.
Eggplant with yogurt and garlic.
All right, we'll do that. Garlic's good. Istanbul is a service culture. Turkey is a service culture. And so you're going to
that's
see
good.
great service. They're going to make sure your water is filled. They're going to make sure you have enough to eat. They're going to, pour more wine. And that is in contrast to some of the places in the region. And so I look at places that have more of a Turkish influence. If you go to Albania, for example, you're going to have more attentive service than you would have in a place where I spend time, like Montenegro. So there's a certain amount of flexibility. People want to work with you. And so if you're coming from a Western European country, it's always about people just make up so many rules that get in your way. Here is, can we both benefit? Can we sell you something? Can we rent our apartment to you for an extra month? Can we do whatever? Can we find a common ground that benefits both parties? And they do it without as many made-up rules. And what I like about Istanbul,
I like
Turkey,
that.
is the openness, and that they've said, listen, if you're from Russia, if you're from Belarus, you can still come here. We're not going to discriminate. And those people have bought real estate here. It's been a great investment. And
Yeah, Russians and Belarusians are some of the most discriminated foreign nationals in the world right now, just because of the sanctions against both countries. They're making all of the people suffer. Western powers are trying to do that because they want to create a pressure cooker environment that ultimately causes the people to revolt and overthrow the regime. It's not working out because there's still pressure release valves. There's still ways that you can get out of Belarus or get out of Russia. Still takes some doing. And it would probably take a certain measure of washing assets or money laundering to get everything out, but it can be done. But yeah, regardless, right now it's if you're Belarusian or Russian, you're quite easily one of the most discriminated nationalities out there, and it's awful. It's making the people suffer for just because certain Western powers don't like the Belarusian and Russian presidents. And I think that's rather stupid, personally.
I think that's a very interesting thing in the future of the world, that we're not going to have, one set of countries dictating who can go and who can not go. I looked at a map of who's sanctioning Russia. It's like 45 countries, except for Japan and South Korea. They're all the U.S. and North America and Europe, and the rest.
South Korea and Japan just going along because, well, they have American troops occupying their lands and have military bases on their lands. If that were not the case, they'd probably be a bit more hesitant to do something like that.
The world just says, no, we're going to treat you the way we treat everybody else.
If you go in the center of Istanbul, there are so many people from all around the world. Like sometimes it reminds me of New York a lot.
This one is our special Turkish pizza.
Yeah, okay, that looks great. Yes. Thank you. Yeah, when we started this Live Like a King.
American.
Turkish pizza.
What's on it?
Yeah, okay, that looks great. Yes.
Middle Eastern flatbread topped with mincemeat, minced vegetables, and herbs. Oh, that sounds pretty good. It's like a Turkish pizza.
Thank you. Yeah, when we started this Live Like a King, I imagine people thought, what's the most ostentatious place you can go? What's the most beautiful cafe? What's the sexiest restaurant? And for me, truly successful people, they want to eat caviar for dinner one night, and then they want to get a hot dog on the street the next day. Or they want to buy a pretzel or the chestnuts, and they appreciate the blending of the different experiences. And to me, that's what living like a king is about. And I think to some extent you can do that in Dubai, but it's probably not as accessible in the places that you would want to live. Thank you very much. You're very generous.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So this is who you like. They're nice. You've been coming. It's nice. No, it's nice to have relationships that are many years, even decades long, where you can go there and you're treated well and you're respected. That's what living like a king is all about. It's rosé all day at Bash Kosher. Let's go.
Weird. What's weird about it, Maiden?
So sometimes
Trying not to shiver. It's only 63 and I'm used to 102 as the feel. Gosh, that's got to be quite an adjustment. Do look after yourself, Rosso. Especially radical changes in temperature and climate like that. It's probably prone to... you kind of run the risk of getting sick that way. A list of foods he sorted out at one time.
sometimes you just want that international taste of home, and you can get that a lot of places around the world, but certainly you can find it in a lot of places here in Istanbul. Don't judge me on the coffee, because I don't drink coffee. They got charred coffee. That's your business.
Yeah, that's exactly spot on. Starbucks coffee is basically just charred coffee. They burn their coffee, they burn their beans. They're just bleh. Terrible stuff. Already a jacket, long sleeve pants, and warm fuzzy socks. Goodness gracious.
Ishlak hamburger. Okay. Just one. Do you want one? No, just one. Okay. Soup. All right, so we're pretty full from Bashkoshe, and this is touristy, but you have to try the Ishlak hamburger. We're here at the main tourist shopping street, Istanbul, on our way to the Hammam. It's here in like 20 seconds. Okay, it's more expensive than the tourist area. This is like $2.50.
That's still not a bad price.
We're on our way to the Hammam, where we're going to enjoy the ultimate Turkish spa experience. These walks are the most creative time I have of the day. And if you're in a city like Istanbul, where you don't live all the time, you get to really experience what's happening in everyday life that you don't if you just get chauffeured around everywhere. This whole thing
is Istanbul's new Galata port. They've been working on this for a while.
Oh, that looks
It's
brilliant.
one of the biggest malls. They've got so many shops, so many restaurants right along the Bosphorus. It's
many
one of the
floors
biggest
was that?
malls. They've got so many shops.
Let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 floors to that shopping mall. They've got 6 floors worth of shopping mall there in Istanbul. Dear Lord. Yes, that looks beautiful. That's a lot of shopping. You could spend a couple of days in there, you could.
So many restaurants right along the Bosphorus.
Notice
it's really
how
a beautiful
clean,
thing.
yes. Not dirty and filthy like a lot of American shopping malls. Ugh. Yeah, American malls could never. Yeah, most American malls, I think a lot of American malls, they've just sort of given up. You've got luxury shopping malls that are still trying, but most of them, I think, have pretty much given up, and it's just sort of managed decline. It's like, let's just do the bare minimum, cut every corner possible so we can show that we're making money, but we're just going to do controlled demolition, ride it down, try to do as soft a landing as possible, and just crash the thing somewhere and try to offload it before they take too many losses. And then everyone responsible for the decline just picks themselves up, dust themselves off, dust off the old resume, and then they go find something else to run into the ground. King of Prussia was always mediocre, dirty at prime time, though, and that's one of the world's largest malls. Gosh, I can't even imagine.
So you could go to one of the 5-star hotels here in Istanbul and get a perfectly good hammam. You'll pay a lot.
Type of steam bath or a place of public bathing inherited from the model of the Roman thermae.
Not a problem. But to me, the experience isn't as good. There's more bureaucracy involved. I like doing something a bit more authentic. This is one of the oldest hammams, and they've restored it to this beautiful condition. You're right next to a mosque
Oh,
of
that
the
is
same name, which has
beautiful.
been here since the 1500s. This is one of the best hammams in Istanbul. You're Ergin.
Yeah,
Andrew,
pleased to meet you.
pleasure.
Andrew.
Thanks for having us. So this mosque is 1580.
That's correct.
Is the hammam the
As
same?
well. Yeah.
So this is 450 years old.
Yeah, they're done at the same time with the madrasa behind.
And
So
you
it's,
can buy this.
you can.
You can buy a hammam from 1580.
You can. I bought the place in 2005.
2005,
Yeah.
and then you spent 7 years.
Yeah, for restoring it and then to run it.
How does that work for a 400 and some year old building to restore it?
It's very complicated. And for
That's
a
putting it
person who's not
mildly.
a restorer
Yeah.
or who's not an architect, it's even worse.
What is your background?
I'm a business graduate, I have an MBA, I'm a normal businessman.
This would be a good addition to a portfolio, a diversified portfolio. You have some tech stocks, you have some real estate, and you have a hammam from 1580.
Well, this is more a passion plan.
Yeah.
It doesn't work in financially. It doesn't work because when you do restore a place for 8 years, and then you run it for another 10 years, and still it's not paying off.
It's not where it needs to be.
No.
And so right now this is like the ladies' hour inside.
Yeah, it's ladies' hours ending,
Okay.
and then the men's shift will start.
This is very different from what a lot of Westerners might be expecting, where even you go to a gym in the Western world and
Something like this is definitely a passion play. You do this out of a labor of love, not necessarily looking to make some sort of windfall profit. But I don't know. Then again, I think that so much of that obsession with the whole profit motive is, it's a bit overrated, because this is something good for the community. There's a lot of intangibles here that you just can't put any sort of monetary figure on. And I think a lot of people in this world have lost sight of that. Be right back, just trying to walk a little. All right, maiden.
the sauna, the pool, the hot tub, everything is communal. Here, the classic way is people are separate.
Women and men are separate, but people are all together. So it's communal bath,
like that.
like onsen in Japan or banya in Russia. It's pretty much the
But
same.
men and women not together.
Not together.
How should you feel when you leave the hammam? What's the goal?
Normally, there are two things to get away with. One is your body. You're fully scrubbed, so your body rejuvenates and that skin is gone, which relaxes you immediately. But the other thing is the heat and the water, which also gives you a different circulation for blood. Come on.
People have lost sight of passion, but I think we talked about that before. Yeah, it's people have lost sight of passion, of community, of certain higher things, and there's just a loss of identity and direction, and you see a lot of that in the West in particular. Honestly, it's true what like YouTubers like What If Alt Hist I've been talking about, that a lot of the West is just, I think they've just gone suicidal. They just have lost the will to live. There's no high aspirations or anything. We can barely build up the passion to want to go to the moon or go to Mars, because we've just been so brainwashed into thinking that it's wrong for us to do that. It's wrong for us to have higher aspirations like that. That it's, racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, and all the other phobias to want something like that. And it's awful. Whereas they don't have that problem once you start heading eastward. You don't have that in Turkey. You don't have that in Southeast Asia. You don't have that in a lot of non-Western countries, because they haven't been brainwashed into thinking that sort of thing is evil or wicked.
It's hammam time. The cameras can't come in, but when I come out, I'll be a whole new person.
All right, fair enough. So is this new person Andrew working? There's new person Andrew.
It's an extremely fraternal environment. It is everyone there to help you. And I've never experienced a hammam like this before. So
The difference is subtle, but he does look like he's been refreshed a bit. Good for him.
much better than the hotels. So much more thoughtful in terms of the approach. You really feel clean after doing that. Now, it's off to dinner and drinks. All right. Hi, I'm Andrew.
This is Ant. I'm the general manager of
Ant?
the hotel.
Oh,
Yes.
oh, the hotel.
Yes.
Wow, he's the big boss. Big
Peanut.
boss. Peanut. He's the big peanut.
And
butter.
he's our chef
Hi.
of
Yes,
Serika
Andrew
restaurant.
Henderson.
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure. So this is Turkish cuisine,
Yes.
and we've been saying people here love Turkish cuisine. Everybody loves Turkish, but I understand it's kind of both historical and modern.
Exactly.
How do you pull that off?
Interesting.
In the palace culture and the traditions and the techniques, like, for example, the tandoori.
Oh, the tandoori.
Yeah.
That was in the Ottoman Empire. Was tandoori?
Yes, because meat was the main dish.
Right.
So it was always cooked open fire.
From a business perspective, you have a hotel. Where
And note that they... Let's go
It's
back
like,
and look at
for
this
example,
again.
the tandoori.
They're cooking everything on the side. That is very interesting. I've never seen that before. But that is quite clever, I must say.
tandoori?
Yeah.
That was in the Ottoman Empire. Was tandoori?
Yes, because
And then when it's done, yeah, they just sort of scoop it off and collect it in the pot there and serve it up.
meat was the main dish.
Right.
So it was always cooked open fire.
From a business perspective, you have a hotel. Where are the guests coming from? Are they coming from other places in Turkey, from the region, from the West?
Our hotel is based and relies on mostly on the States,
U.S.
US,
Okay.
and then UK and Europe.
Right.
This is our majority of our customers' perspective.
I think the best view in Istanbul, here at Karakoy, you've got the fish market.
This is sort of... And I suppose that's traditionally in keeping with how Turkey, and especially The city of Istanbul has always been. Turkey's always been the sort of gateway to the East, where a lot of people from the West will come to sort of get that flavor and that experience of it all before either going back or continuing on eastward.
Market down there. Tell me about the freshness of the ingredients in Turkish cuisine. How do you do it?
It's not just the fish, of course. We are using also our bazaars, which are very popular. The markets, the local markets.
Over here,
Yes,
the touristy ones.
yes.
I'm sure there's others.
the local
You can
ones.
find
local
anything
markets,
at the
the ones we wouldn't
bazaars.
go to.
Where you can find the Turkish delights. Not that one. Just, you know, the local people where they get their daily foods, vegetables, ingredients. Our chef has prepared the favorite plates. So this plate is a marinated sea bass. This plate is artichoke. It is
Baby artichoke puree and fresh dill oil.
exactly from a very special place, which is very famous with the artichokes.
Where's the artichokes from? I know like in Rome it's a big thing. Where are they from here?
From the Aegean side, it's called urla.
Urla.
Urla. And the third plate is being cooked
Still
in
fairly
the
local.
tandoori. It's a lamb shoulder with stuffed onions. So if you are ready, we can taste.
It's still somewhat smaller portions, but I mean, that looks very hearty and juicy. So even though it looks small, it's probably going to be quite filling.
I've had the artichoke, as they call it, in Rome, but this looks a little softer and a little easier to eat. So this is the Turk-Aegean one.
Sure.
We're gonna keep it really light because we're going right upstairs for drinks after this. That's perfect, just a taste. Hi, Shako.
Hi, how are you?
Better than I deserve. Did you eat?
Oh, not yet.
Yeah. We were downstairs. It's really nice. I was here about a year ago. They have really nice cocktails, and you can't beat this, honestly.
The view's amazing.
The guy this morning was telling us, like, the reason they don't do paper menus as much here, it's not COVID.
Yeah.
As people might think, it's because they don't want to change it every time the lira is weaker.
Exactly.
They got to jack up the price. Thank you. This is, yeah, I love these, like, purple.
That's interesting.
This is
Of course, it
wild.
makes sense.
What is this?
It's an olive.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, they're like
Purple olive?
fleshier than a lot of olives.
I've got a friend who's kind of like a businessman, a millionaire or something like that, always has some ideas.
Yeah.
And he was asking me, like, how hard is it to kind of like create a company like Nomad Capital? It's like, can we do it in 3 years? I'm like, people in this industry don't really understand that it takes that road, that hard road, that maybe you had to go through to create a company like that.
Looking back, I've realized what makes anyone successful is an incredible pain tolerance. And I had a coach, he's like, I've never met anyone who takes more pain and misery and rejection than you. And I kind of don't want to do it again.
Yeah.
But I realized, like, I just didn't have that switch of like, wow, this is painful, I'm going to stop.
Yeah.
Well, so we had that thing for the NCL launch.
Yeah.
Where we had like, what was it, like 33,000 people on the waiting list. And then you ascertained that like 10,000 of them were people who you retargeted, who were looking for like student visas from Pakistan or something.
Yeah, so I mean, like, that was the case. I mean, and we discussed that. I mean, when we are targeting certain countries through interests, and Google doesn't really always know that you're top 1% or not. I mean, because, I mean, who knows, right? Who can really get into your bank account, right? When we're targeting people in Dubai, I mean, you're gonna get a lot of people who owns huge businesses and have a lot of money and like are really interested in the services that we offer. But I mean, also you're gonna get like a lot of hundreds of thousands of people who have the same interest but don't really have the means to get that done right now. I've said it multiple times. We're not like .com or something like that, who get their like most of the traffic from the top 10 richest countries in the world.
Billionaires in Thailand.
Yeah, I mean, like, I can do that article tomorrow. I'm gonna, trust me,
It's like BuzzFeed for citizenship.
yeah. So nobody really cares. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, we talked about at the end of the day, it just comes down to how much money you get. That's the business.
So today we saw the most luxurious neighborhood in
I mean, there's grifters in just about anything and everything these days. It's unavoidable, unfortunately.
Istanbul. Some of my favorite restaurants with amazing service. We had a great spa experience that is like nothing else you've ever seen, and we're ending it with drinks on this rooftop bar. There are so many options to eat and drink and be merry and live in Istanbul at incredibly affordable prices. You don't have to live here full time, but it's a place that you can check out. It's a place that you can know is an option for you. We're going to keep showing you places to live like a king, and until then, good night from Istanbul.
Not a bad place, Istanbul. Wouldn't mind living there myself. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon so you never miss an update. If you have any thoughts, questions, or ideas for future videos, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. You can also follow me on Twitter @LordRexworth for more updates and behind-the-scenes content. And if you want to support the channel, check out my Coffee or Throne pages. Links are in the description. Finally, be sure to visit LordRexworth.com and follow me across all platforms. That's LordRexworth.com. Until next time, I wish you all the best, and God bless.